Welcome back, SethBling here, and today we continue my quest to create a custom 360 card Mario themed Magic the Gathering draft cube. If you missed the very first video in the series, it explains what the whole thing's about, what I'm trying to do, what all the different strategies are that I'm trying to incorporate into the cube, all that stuff. So go check out that video, there's a link in the description. But today I'm going to talk about a bunch of Mario Kart themed cards that I'm designing for the sets. 1/5 of the set is devoted towards the Mario Kart theme, and specifically the colors white, blue, and black. And then I'm also going to talk about a couple of other random cards. So first off, let's start off with Please the Crowd. This card is supposed to encapsulate what Pursuit means. So Pursuit is a keyword that I came up with just for this set, or in Pursuit. So this is an instant. It costs 2 blue, white. Target player creates 3 0/1 white peasant creature tokens with this creature can't block vehicles. I made this peasant token. It's I'm pretty happy with this because it's like from the same art piece, but it doesn't appear in the picture here, so it like looks like it's, you know, separate art custom made for this token. But this creature can't block vehicles is a 0/1. And if you're in Pursuit, draw 3 cards. So basically, you can cast this, give your opponent 3 creatures. And then if you're in Pursuit means if an opponent controls more creatures than you, then you get to draw 3 cards. So there's like almost no circumstances where you can't use this and then draw 3 cards. And so this is supposed to show you like, here's how you get Pursuit. Here's what you get. Like, it's a really nice benefit. And then also this creature can't block vehicles is both nice flavorfully because like the crowd shouldn't be running onto the raceway and blocking the vehicles. But also, it shows you that this is supposed to play well with vehicles. So vehicles don't count as creatures until you crew them. And so vehicles are a great way to turn on Pursuit. So if you see this card, you'll be like, oh, I want this card. And it'll also get you thinking about how you can turn on Pursuit. And so this is supposed to not only be like a really nice card for that strategy, for that Mario Kart strategy, it's also supposed to teach you some things about like how that strategy is supposed to operate and where you're supposed to get your synergies from. So I really like this as a nice like package. It's also just very aesthetically pleasing, and it's got some really nice card advantage to it too. Next up is Traffic Slip, which is just a really great pun. This was inspired by Naz Fluka in the Twitch stream. I'm doing a lot of the design for this set live on Twitch, twitch.tv/SethBling. Check it out. But Tragic Slip is a... Here, let me just pull up the card. Tragic... Whoops. Is a very iconic card from Dark Ascension. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That creature gets -13/-13 until end of turn if a creature died this turn. So, yeah. It's very similar, except instead of Morbid, it's using Pursuit. So target creature gets -1/-1. Otherwise, it gets -13/-13 if you're in Pursuit. So again, this is synergizes well with having vehicles, since a lot of your board development in this strategy is in terms of things that aren't creatures until you crew them. So you can kill a big creature with this if you're in the right strategy. But it's also just a really nice pun, you know, slipping on a banana peel. I actually would like to change this art to slipping on an oil slick, because there is a banana peel card in the set. And so I don't want to have 2 banana peel cards that reference it in different ways. Anyway, so it'd be nice to find some art with an oil slick, but not too important. Pit Crew Toad is this toad guy. He's a 1/1, but as long as you control a vehicle, Pit Crew Toad gets +2/+0. This kind of card is really nice. Since I'm designing 360 custom cards, it's really nice to have a few cards that are just very simple. Cards, you just read it, you know exactly what it does. This card synergizes really well with vehicles because it's a 1-drop, and if you have a vehicle, it has a lot of power, and you can use it to crew a vehicle. I mean, it's got crew in the name, it makes a lot of sense. But if you like play a vehicle that has crew 3, Pit Crew Toad can crew it. So pretty powerful card, but you need a critical mass of vehicles to make it work. So another nice thing about this card is in a draft, a player who is drafting vehicles can rely on other players not really taking this card because they're not going to be able to get anything but a 1/1 out of it. And so you can rely on this kind of card to make its way around to you and be able to draft it. All right, let's move on to a couple of vehicles. Heart Coach. I actually designed it after seeing this art. I thought it was great. You know, it's the love story of Mario and Peach. So Heart Coach is a vehicle. Whenever Heart Coach attacks or blocks, if it was crewed by exactly 2 creatures this turn, draw a card and gain 4 life. And it's got crew 4, so you kind of need 2 creatures to crew this anyway. It's pretty rare to have a creature that has 4 power. But basically, you get to draw a card, and it kind of like gives Heart Coach lifelink if you do crew it with exactly 2 creatures. Yeah, and then so a 4/7, which is not that like you're crewing it with 4, which means you're using 4 power, at least 4 power worth of creatures to crew this, and so you're not getting any extra power out of this. But at least it has a nice butt, so it can attack pretty well without that much risk of dying. It can also block things pretty well without that much risk of dying. And gaining 4 life kind of makes up for having to tap several creatures. This is a pretty hard card to actually use because you do need like 2 creatures in addition to this card. Just a lot to devote to the ability. But drawing a card and gaining 4 life is a pretty nice benefit. Here's Bitty Buggy. Yeah, so Bitty Buggy is this tiny little cart. Somehow, I think that's Roy Koopa. Yeah, Roy Koopa has fit into this tiny little cart, but it's just a nice little Death Toucher. It costs 1 mana. Wizards hasn't really printed vehicles that cost 1 mana, except there's one that has like Crew 6 or something. But this is a nice early vehicle. It can interact really well with a lot of the other vehicle-themed cards in the set. I mean, you can play this on 1 and then play Pit Crew Toad on 2 and be attacking with him on turn 2, or blocking. You can block a big creature with him. At 2/3, you can block like minion tokens and spook tokens really well without dying. Just like a pretty efficient card that works well with a lot of vehicle cards. Bone Rattler. I've been looking for a way to include a card like Gravedigger in the set. Gravedigger costs 3 and a black. It's a 2/2 that returns a creature card from your graveyard to your hand when it enters the battlefield. It's like a really iconic black card. So this is like a vehicle version of that. So it's a 4/4 with crew 2, which means you get 2 extra power out of this. If you crew this with a 2/2, it's kind of like this is another 2/2 that you tack onto it, right? So when it enters the battlefield, you return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is like Gravedigger. It also hits vehicles. In a dedicated vehicle deck, it's like pretty likely that you will have vehicles in your graveyard rather than creatures, because you're kind of tapping your creatures to crew the vehicles. So yeah, this gives you that kind of value. So nice value card. Can also return cards that you've sacrificed. In the black-red shard, there's a lot of sacrifice effects. So this can let you sacrifice a creature and then get that creature back, that sort of thing. Snatch is a card. Oh no, chat, help me. I've forgotten what the 2 cards are again. So this is a combination of 2 cards which are really iconic. Mind Rot is one of them. That's this half. The other one is Divination. Yes, I got it. Got it all on my own. I originally made this cost 4 blue-black, which would be like a literal, like, because Divination costs 2 and a blue, and then Mind Rot costs 2 and a black. So it'd just be like gluing the 2 cards together. I thought that cost too much, so I dropped the cost by 1, but I was pretty surprised to see that Wizards hasn't printed this card yet. But I think it is like a nice value card. The picture is really terrible. The theme I was going for was you're like sniping a double item box from someone else. So like you're getting the double item box and they're losing out on that double item box. So you draw 2 card, they discard 2 card. And the flavor text I was going for, or the flavor text kind of conveys that. Wow, you took it from Wario. Anyway, and it's Wario the itemless is saying this. I like the flavor, but I need a much better picture for this. Or I'd like a much better picture for this. Nudge Off Course. There's not really a lot of counter spells in the set, and so I thought this would make a good counter spell. I didn't want to have double blue in the cost since this set is encouraging 3 color builds. So I made it a version of Mono League. So counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. It's still very likely to counter a spell, but late game it might not. If you're in Pursuit, draw a card. So this is Mono League that costs 1 extra, but it could have a lot of payoff if you're able to build the right kind of deck and let your opponent get ahead on creatures. Leave in the Dust. This is actually a reprint from Aether Revolt. but it made a lot of sense with the Mario Kart theme, and I didn't really have an effect like this in the set yet, so I thought it made a lot of sense. Yep, straightforward, just a reprint, but got this sweet art, kind of cartoony. Wheelie. So in Mario Kart, if you have a bike, you can do a wheelie, and it makes you go faster, but if you bump into another kart or you bump into anything, really, you lose the wheelie, you slow down for a little bit, and you kind of lose the benefit of the wheelie. So, wheelie is a sorcery. Whenever target creature or vehicle deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw 2 cards. If you're in pursuit, it gains this permanent can't be blocked until end of turn. So, you can target your vehicle before crewing it, so that's nice, because that'll help you get pursuit. And the effect lasts until end of turn, regardless of whether you lose pursuit. But yeah, the flavor here is pretty strong, right? You're like doing a wheelie, you're drawing 2 cards if that creature isn't blocked, but if it is blocked, you don't get to do anything. But then being in pursuit means, there's no one there to block you, everyone's way ahead of you, so you do that wheelie and catch up a bit by getting to draw 2 cards. That's the flavor of the card, and it's a nice one. I think it fits really well into the set. Yep. And then I have 2 more cards for this video, and they're no longer Mario Kart. These are just sort of some random cards that I designed with the help of Twitch chat. Here's Scarathon. All creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. Spook 3 and a black. So it costs a lot if you... oh, this is Languish. This effect is Languish. I made it cost a lot more than Languish. Languish costs 2 black. But if you haven't seen Spook before, you may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. So that's the same ability that Morph gives you, but you can't turn it face up directly. Instead, when this creature dies while face down, exile it. You may cast it later from exile for its Spook cost. So this is sort of taking from Adventures from Throne of Eldraine. When the creature dies, you get to cast it face up for a reduced cost. So this is a similar cost to Languish. It's a little bit easier because it doesn't have that double black in the cost. And so it just becomes much easier to cast this spell. And it fits in pretty well into a Spook theme because you might actually want to kill off your Spook creatures in order to be able to cast them for their front side. And it's sort of like it's just a Wrath type effect, Damnation type effect, Languish type effect, I guess. Very powerful effect. And yeah, you can also play this in a vehicles deck, and like a lot of your like board presence is in non-creature cards, and so you can kill your opponent's creatures without affecting your own vehicles. And then the last card for today is a really great one. So Casualties of War is a card that has this exact effect. It costs 2 green, black, so it costs 6 mana, which is 1 less than this. But in this set where I'm encouraging 3 color builds, I didn't want to have 2 pips of 2 different colors, especially green and black, which I'm not really planning for there to really be green-black decks in this format. So anyway, this encourages you to play all 3 of the enemy color or like villain colors. And it's got this really great art, and I think it fits really well into black, green, red as well. Just those colors are all about like, they're good at destroying things. Anyway, this art is awesome. Wart is the boss of Super Mario Bros. 2, and we can see like Mario and Peach are just like really... Oh, and there's... I think this is a Luigi hat. Yeah. Everyone is just getting blown up by these bombs that Wart throws. Anyway, so he throws bombs at your stuff and gets to destroy one of each permanent type. This is really good against Architect decks because they are likely to have all of these permanent types. Except maybe Planeswalker, but... Really strong card, but it costs 7. There's a few ways to ramp in this set, though, so... this card is still pretty castable, I think. That'll do it for this video. I still have one more video that you'll see tomorrow. I'll be talking more about some super cards I designed. And yeah, so if you aren't already following me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SethBling, I'm doing a lot of this card design on stream with the help of Twitch chat. Also, reddit.com/r/Mario the Gathering is a great place to discuss what's going on, suggest cards, that sort of stuff. It's pretty active. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.